First, Zion, Bryce, and Capitol Reef are places we have been. But come to Arches and you'll need a ticket to get in. Let's find out why. Welcome back to My Travel Window, where we help you use the time you have to see the places you haven't. Today we continue our 7-day journey, 7 parks in 7 days. We're to day 4, Arches National Park. So this is where we make the turn and start heading back towards Zion on the outer part of the loop. The first 5 parks are what are referred to as Utah's Mighty 5. You'll remember on day 1 we toured through Zion National Park, the second most visited park in the U.S. On the second day we visited Bryce Canyon, the park with vast reaches of spectacular red rock. Last time we drove through Capitol Reef, formerly known as Wayne's Wonderland. Today we come to my personal favorite, Arches National Park, located almost literally across the highway from the tourist town of Moab, Utah. Moab is the hub for all sorts of outdoor adventure. In addition to being a great base for 2 of the parks, Arches and Canyonlands, it features other off-road and river trip adventures on the nearby Green River. Our next video will round out the lineup with a swing through Canyonlands, the least visited of the Mighty 5. As you look at this map, you might expect to come to Canyonlands before Arches, but the road comes from the north and brings you to the entrance of Arches first. But just because you come to the entrance doesn't mean you can get in. When we visited the park in October of 2018, it was available during all open hours without restriction. Then the pandemic came, the park closed, and when it reopened after the COVID shutdown, a new rationing system was implemented. The park would open in the early morning, allow in a certain number of cars, then close to new vehicles for a span of several hours. In early afternoon, it would open again. To me, it was reminiscent of the way stores like Costco would limit the number of people inside during the pandemic. We had family members visit the park in October of 2021 while this was still in place. Unaware of the process, they arrived at the park during a shutdown period. Fortunately, they were staying for several days, were able to use the time to visit nearby Canyonlands, and return to Arches during opening hours later in the day. But this video is being filmed in April 2022. Beginning this month, the park is piloting a new process. It involves a registration system, and will be tested during the main 2022 season beginning April 3rd and ending October 3rd. You can only reserve a spot beginning approximately 3 months in advance. A nominal $2 fee is charged for the service. Unused spaces will be available on a first-come, first-served basis. Watch the video at this National Park Service website for more information. Since this is a pilot program, please be sure to check out the latest details before you come. You can still see Arches without a problem. You just need to plan ahead. Since Bryce Canyon is the smallest park and Zion is the most visited, why does Arches require this new process? A quick view of the layout of the park will explain. First, think of the park as a giant cul-de-sac. By that I mean there's one entrance and one exit. Second, it's one of the most pedestrian-oriented. Very few of the major sites can be appreciated fully from your car. Essentially, there's a series of roads that diverge and lead to somewhere in the neighborhood of a dozen major parking areas where you leave your car and hike to see the nearby attractions. Arches is my favorite park because I'm a photographer, and the scenes available here are truly astonishing. There are hundreds of different arches and other geologic formations such as balancing rock, shown here. And the park takes on an entirely different character in the changing light. Early morning and evening can produce dazzling reddish and golden hues on already spectacular formations. A reminder that this is the high desert country. It can be incredibly hot in the daytime. Trails are reasonably primitive. Stay hydrated, take precautions in case of accidents. The most famous arch in the park is called Delicate Arch. This is the one featured on Utah license plates, but it is not easily accessible. It is visible via a short hike, but the vantage point looks like this, and there's no way to get to the arch directly from here. To actually get to it, you must take a 1.5-mile hike each way with a 480-foot elevation change over somewhat rugged terrain. What you'll find is a long line of people at the end waiting in line to have their picture taken underneath the arch. It's best done in spring or fall because it's oppressively hot in the summer. Be prepared with flashlights if you want to capture that impressive sunset picture. For the sake of this video, my idea would be to spend a full day in the park. Make your reservation in advance. If you want spectacular photos, arrive early, knowing the best shots are at dawn and twilight. Pack your own food because there's no concessions inside the park. An alternate plan would be to visit on consecutive days, coming in the evening and then returning in the AM to visit the other areas that you missed. If you like our videos, please hit like and subscribe. It helps us get out to a wider audience, and we appreciate it very much. Thanks in advance. Here's a few of the things you'll see. Queen Nefertiti. Don't remember her? She was an Egyptian pharaoh. Perhaps this will help. Then there's the aforementioned balancing rock, windows, the three gossips, courthouse towers, and a host of others, with just the perfect amount of vegetation to make great photo ops and enough people to lend size perspective. As promised, here's the story behind this picture, which demonstrates the national park has something for everyone. We already pointed out Queen Nefertiti in this picture, but there's another simpler formation that captured my imagination. Let me zoom in a little and show you a close-up. A 4-year-old would know this anywhere. This formation is called the Popsicle. Until next time, safe travels.